Hi, I'm Horvath from dreamquilt.com and I'm so excited to share with you a couple of new ideas and tips using my favorite and unique applique technique that I call the draw, sew, trim. If you love applique like I do and like quick, easy and fun techniques, you're just gonna love this technique. I hope you give it a try. Come with us and see for yourself. Have you ever had a fabric that was too dark or too thick to see the design through? Or have you wished to use delicate fabrics that are not very friendly with the fusible web? If the answer is yes, just bear with me. I will show you how the draw, sew, trim can help you with those problems. When I worked on my Mother Earth quilt, the background was an already appliqued piece. I wanted to add some beautiful designs like these ancient Egyptian lotus flowers or these beautiful Australian Aboriginal designs. I don't like to mark my quilt on the top, on the surface, because some fade-away pans tend not to fade away after the work is done, or they might fade away before the work is done. Also, I like to use delicate fabrics. For the face of Mother Earth, I used a white satin. Well, satin doesn't really like to be ironed too much and doesn't really like to be fused. And some of the good properties can be really lost with the fusible web. Also, for the medusas, I used Angelina fiber, which loses its shiny, beautiful color if you iron them too much. So let me show you a couple of other fabrics that work well with the draw, sew, trim technique, but you wouldn't like to use them with the fusible web. Let's start with leather and faux leather. These are great for bags and you can applique on them, but they are too thick to see the design through the light box. Suedet and faux suedet are great for bags and as background fabrics as well. It has a nice velvety touch that it will lose if you iron it. Jeans are all-time favorites and you can fuse them very nicely as they take heat very well, but they are very thick and densely woven to see the design through the light box. Fleece and polar fleece, plush fleece are my very favorite for baby cushions and baby quilts. They are so soft and cuddly, but because of the hairy surface, they are not recommended to fuse. I love to use satins for my mandalas. They have a beautiful soft glow that changes from every angle. They are quite sensitive to heat. Lame is a metallic fabric that really looks like molten metal. You definitely don't want to iron this. Silk is another fabric that you need to be really careful when you iron it, and it gets stiffer and loses its lightness. Organza can add a nice glow to your quilts, even added on top of another fabric, but you definitely don't want to fuse that. Now let's get to work and let me show you how to mark your designs through with the draw, sew, trim technique. The first project in the book is a taffeta handbag with a Celtic knot design. On one side it is appliqued, but on the other side it is just stitched out with a dense satin stitch. Let's mark this Celtic knot design through to a brown faux leather. You will need the mirror image of the pattern of the design printed out in the right size. All the patterns in the book are already mirrored and you will find enlargement instructions and all fabric requirements as well. Tape it down at least on two sides so that it doesn't move, and also you will need an interfacing. That is for me a white piece of cotton fabric that is transparent and thin enough to see the pattern through. You can find the middle by folding it in half, this way and this way, and you can arrange it to the center. Tape this one down as well at all 4 corners. It doesn't always matter if it's a mirror image or not, because some designs may look good either way. But if it's a letter that you are doing, then make sure it's a mirror image, because the whole design will turn in the process. So when this one is done, get a pencil or marking pen and draw all the lines through the pattern. So when you are done, you can remove the tape, and as you saw me, I used tiny little strokes of my pencil because it tends not to stretch the fabric in one direction that much. So that's a good technique to get the drawing done. So remove all the tapes and take the fabric. You can find the middle of the fold letter as well, the same way as we did for the interfacing, and just match up those lines, those creases with each other. Now normally I would pin this to the background, but because it's a full leather, I don't want to leave holes on the leather. So either you can use basting spray or a tiny little bit of textile glue to fix the 2 layers, and I would use that only just a little bit in the corners, just to tuck it down. You don't need much, and then it's ready to take it to the sewing machine and sew all the designs through. So let's just take it to the sewing machine and do the lines again with the sewing machine at this time. For the sewing, in the bobbin you would like a thread that is matching color to your decorative stitches. Now remember, this is going to be on the top, on the right side of your piece, because the whole thing is upside down. Or if you don't want to see them at all, then you can use a clear monofilament. Now I can imagine that you would like to use your quilting design through, and you would like it to disappear after the quilting is done. In that case you can use a water soluble thread that will wash out after the work is done. In the top thread, in the top you can use the same thread. It helps with the adjustments, so you can adjust the thread tensions nicely. It's always important to check the thread tension before you start your work. Now you can have 2 settings. One of them you can use pressing foot or an applique foot, and with this one you would like the feed dogs raised up. The stitch length would be about 1.8 millimeters, or you can use a darning foot and you can do the job with free motion. That's what I did on mine, and as you see I didn't do a very nice job, because on those lines when I had to return, obviously you can't do it in one run. Sometimes you will have to go back and forth and go the same way 2 or even 3 times. And I didn't manage these lines to go on top of each other, but don't you worry, it's just practice. We all get better with time. So just keep on trying and keep on sewing and it will get better. So when you start sewing, just position your quilt or your piece and grab the top thread very gently. Now you need to put your needle down and bring it up, and as you pull on the top thread it will bring up the bobbin thread as well, and just pull it out a little bit and hold it very gently. Now just do a couple of securing stitches. Let me just find the paddle. So just a couple of securing stitches, that's enough, and then start sewing. Just relax and slowly, and then as you get the hang of it you can go a little bit faster. Now you can snap this off and just keep on working and go and sew all the lines around. When it's all done, you can turn it upside down and you will see the pattern is marked through, and I just have to cut off the little endings of the thread. And now I just have to set my machine to a satin stitch and go around the lines again with the satin stitch and an applique foot. For the satin stitches, I reset my machine. I will use an applique foot which is clear in the middle and will help me to see the line and put the line straight into the middle of that gap. And in the bobbin I use either polyester or cotton bobbin thread, which is really fine and it doesn't come up to the surface as much as other threads, thicker threads would. And I will use a 40 weight 100% polyester embroidery thread for the top. For the decorated stitches I chose a dense zigzag stitch. The width is 2.5 millimeters and the stitch length is 0.3 millimeters. I loosened the top thread tension a little bit because I don't want the bobbin thread to come up to the surface. Now you will have to do this in sections as you see, and whenever I start a section I will just start a little bit in, not right at the point when I want to match the two stitchings, and then I will do a few backward stitches until I reach the point when the two lines will meet. For example, if I wanted to do it here, I would start it a tiny bit further away. I would do a couple of back stitches until I reach this point and then start to sew. And it seals my stitches and it gives me a very good accurate starting point. When I'm getting closer to the end, I will just slow down and then I will just do a couple of securing stitches and then cut the thread. Then I will just clear the loose threads and I will go over all the lines the same way. When it's all done, you can finish it as a bag, as I did, or you can make a cushion, or you can use it as a block of a larger quilt. I hope you found this video useful. Please give us a like if you did, and subscribe if you would like to get the further updates. Visit our website and also find us on Facebook or Instagram. Thank you for watching this video. See you next time. Happy quilting!